Back on a winning track, the Toronto Maple Leafs head into this game looking to build upon their streak. It all started with the introduction of 2 new faces in the lineup, and since their debuts, they've earned the right to stay. One backends the blue line, and he'll be busy with the likes of Parise, Gianta, and Elias. The other looks to continue about his business of putting pucks in the net.
At the end of the plate in the slot, across the goal, Williams scores! Now here's Williams with a touchdown!
Youngblood leads to a resurgence here. Leafs, Devils, tonight. Get ready for some hockey at the Air Canada Centre. This guy is, as are these 2 former Marlies. 10 games with the big club between them. Welcome, everybody, to Molson Canadian Leaf Nation pregame. I'm Jody Vance, along with AM 640 play-by-play man for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Joe Bowen. You don't need an introduction, but I do it anyway.
And
Mark
you got the choo-choo train engineer down here.
Yes, well, Mark Morrow, our hockey analyst, and Paul Henrik, our senior reporter, who made it by the skin of his teeth today. That GO train let you down a little bit.
A little bit of skin, a little bit of plaque, I think.
But
Not that thin.
But you made it.
More coal, you'd have got here fast.
All right.
You made it, and we're glad you're here. We have a lot to cover on today's show. Greg Gilbert will be stopping by to talk about the Marlies, and the Marlies who are currently playing with the Toronto Maple Leafs and doing quite well. But first, we hit the headlines, brought to you by Ford, powered by you. Paul?
Tonight's headlines, Jody and company. Can inspired play of Cyphers and Williams continue here tonight? Will the Leafs be able to shut down the Devils' big guns? And he's cool, and he's got smarts. He's cool him on. He's Nikolai. Cool him on. Let's talk about Cyphers and Williams. A couple of seasoned American Hockey League veterans, maturity on and off the ice. One is 24, the other is 25. And Joe Bowen, I ask you, has this maturity helped ease the transition into the National Hockey League for both these young men?
Can we do the third one first? That was really
Cooley
good.
And
I
he's
love that. Yeah,
go in order, Joe. Come on.
Oh, sorry. You know what the one thing about Jamie Cyphers has been his physical play. And I know that in the first couple of games he's been running on adrenaline. And now we find out whether he can maintain that kind of play throughout. Because after the first couple of games, then it becomes the talent situation. And that's where you've got to be able to get your mindset right. Jeremy Williams is the same thing. He's had a couple of opportunities where he came up, scored in his very first games, and you wondered, hey, this is something special. And then all of a sudden, there was a bit of a drought. So now he's got to make sure that he maintains that kind of energy, he maintains that kind of approach. And the one thing that Coach Ron Wilson has done is given Jeremy Williams an opportunity to play with some people who can put the puck in the net, who can play with him. And that's great. So you hope that they can, but this is the real test. Now, after you've gone a couple of games and the adrenaline is pretty much now running where you've got to have it going every night.
Well, no question, Joe, that Ron Wilson has put these guys in a position in which to succeed. We'll see if it can continue here in the third game since being called up by the Marlies. And Ron spoke this morning of the significance of going to their farm team, the Toronto Marlies, and knowing that these guys can all contribute when called upon.
We could pretty much bring up anybody, and they're going to be able to play in the NHL. It's not like guys skate on their ankles in the minors and have no chance of playing in the NHL. But what is nice, and it's good for all the people right now with the Marlies, that when you get called up, you're going to get a decent chance to show what you can do, and we're not going to try and, put you on the end of the bench and give you 3 or 4 minutes and then tell you, that next time you come up, you've got to score in your 3 or 4 minutes, or we're not going to play. Just give people opportunities and try to build confidence that way. And it helps Gibby and what he's doing with the Marlies. When we do have opportunities, we bring people up and they'll play, and it'll be up to them to see if they can stick or stay or anything like that.
Well, let's go to headline number 2, keeping the Devils' big guns in check. Elias, Parise, and Gianta, the last dozen games, pardon the pun, gentlemen, but these Devils have been on fire and continue to be so. The Leafs are certainly hoping not here tonight. You love the skill set of these guys, especially in these so-called new rules, Marc Morrow, because they've had room to move out there.
Well, absolutely. You mentioned the new rules. Gianta, especially, Elias to a certain degree, Parise, definitely. They're all on the smaller side, and they're skilled, speedy players, and these new rules play right into their game. It opens it up for them. They can go and use their assets, and like you said, last 12 games, New Jersey's been 9-3. These guys have been the real reason behind that. They've really kicked in with their offense, and all 3 of them have more points than Matt Stajan, the leading scorer for the Maple Leafs. So it shows you how they're contributing, and it's just part of that depth on this New Jersey team. But these guys have really stepped up with their play, and the Devils are reaping the rewards from that.
You know, and they've also gotten great goaltending from Scotty Clemenson, but these guys have really picked up, as you said, offensively. And in the last little while, I think we were all expecting the demise of the New Jersey Devils when Brodeur went down. Instead, after a bit of a adjustment period, they've caught fire here in the last little while and playing exceptionally well.
Well, Nikolai Kulemin gets a bit of a break here tonight, moves up to the top line alongside that of Stajan and Antropov. And, Joe, we looked at this young man, 22 years of age, and what have been the keys to his transition to the National Hockey League this year and, in turn, to these two guys?
Well, I think the one thing that he does have, he's got great quickness. And the other thing that he needs to use more, and you've seen some evidence of it here, is the way he can shoot the puck. He can really lean on it and really has a great wrist shot. And I think everybody on the team, especially his line mates when he was playing with Grabowski and Hagman, were hoping that he would shoot the puck more.
And that's just the thing. And it's all about him getting in the right area so he gets those opportunities to shoot the puck. And with him, it's been the constant adjustment. We've talked a lot about it earlier in the year, how there's the off-ice adjustments as well. Tonight, he's moving on to a new line. At least that's the way it appeared after practice this week, where he's going to play with Nick Antropov and Matt Stajan. And the reason being that Antropov can help guide him. He's done it throughout the course of the year in the dressing room for limited times on the ice. Now tonight, they're looking to really see if it can help on the offense, and he can communicate better on the ice. So he can jump into those areas, call for the puck, anticipate the play better, and then really capitalize on that shot that he possesses.
Should put him on the go train with Paul. He'd learn a lot of language.
Well, you'll get back on track, that's for sure.
Joe, we're sending you up to the AM 640 booth where we will hear you call this game. 7 o'clock puck drop. Greg Millen's going to join us shortly. Of course, we got to talk some net minding with Clemenson at one end, Vesatoskala at the other end. We will cover all of that, the stats, and some Marty Brodeur stats as well. They're pretty impressive, to say the least, as expected. More to come here, live from Leaf Nation HQ. It's Molson Canadian Leaf Nation pregame.